And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome! You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say.
Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to Point Place Tarot. My name is Coy, and I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. There's a set of quick announcements. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That way, when uploads are made, you can see what the stars are trying to say to you. Also, if interested, individual reads are back up and open. Either message or email me directly. Link is on main, and we'll set it up, okay? Virgo, what are we looking at? This is going to be your ATC As Things Change read. At time of recording, this is more towards the end of May going into June. So that transitional period now being marked by the fives. Fives are the cards of conflict, at least amongst the minor arcana in the tarot deck. So my attitude about it, let's jump right in, right? We're going to see the conflict of emotionality, materiality, energy, thought process, etc., etc. This is defined by water, earth, fire, and air, cups, pentacles, wands, and swords, respectively. And the efforts of this, or the hopes, is that once we dive directly into the issue and face the conflict, we come out gleaning better solutions. Right? Just jump right in and see what happens. So, as a preamble to this read, Virgo, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse. At times, even when it gets difficult, understand that I, as your tarot card reader, I'm not here to misguide or mislead you. Trust me, I got 12 signs to do, and none of the time to waste of lies on any of them. Instead, we will lay our cards out on the table, and good or bad, come rain or sunshine, let's talk about it. Because at the end of the day, tarot is a conversation, just an energetic one, right? So following me in your read today, Virgo, your ATC As Things Change read, and yeah, let's see what the cards say. We're going to start over here with your Five of Cups. Show us the cards we need to see, please, upon the Virgo Collective. This As Things Change read. What do we need to see? To the Five of Cups. Okay, so what about our nightmares and fears? What are they trying to tell us? Nine of Swords. And I want to pause right here because this tends to go a little bit off the railings, having the Five of Cups and the Nine of Swords right next to each other. This clearly is bothering you at a core level. My question is this: are nightmares equally not dreams too? Right, before we dive into whatever remains, because the Nine of Swords, all dreams are meant to inform us or tell us about something. There's no such thing as a pointless dream, right? It's either information we're harvesting from our subconscious or a desire that we are manifesting intentionally with the conscious state. And in knowing that, the Nine of Swords being there, what are your nightmares meant to tell you? And why does that make you sad? Okay, next. Seven of Swords, lies, deceptions, that things are not as they appear on the surface. And last, King of Wands, the ability to do right in the situations and circumstances that you are given. Yeah, having the right energy, we're trying to confront our fears. Long story short, and it has to do more so with a situation that I think you were not giving the full amount of information about, Virgo, and therefore the original act that you did only spelled out bad outcomes because you didn't have all the information or could not make a fully informed choice. Now that we know better and understanding, oh, this is how deep it actually goes, what are we left to do? It's not simply digging, okay? So that's a big question coming up for you right now. What are our fears about this actually trying to teach us about ourselves? Next to the Five of Pentacles, what do you feel impoverished or left out from? Show us the cards we need to see, please. How we feel left behind for Virgo as things change. Okay, Five of Pentacles. underneath the Five of Pentacles. Let me see what more is coupled with that, but I think I know where this is going. Two of Pentacles, trying to make it balance out. How do we pull that off? Three of Wands, hope against all hope. You're having financial instability right now. Very clear and very obvious. Trying to claw and dig our way up, trying to understand this is where we are and this is how we move it. It doesn't change your current circumstance, Virgo. My question becomes, how do we truthfully get here? Because I think that was what we were trying to dig at a bit over here underneath the Five of Cups, not underneath the Five of Pentacles. We're seeing the losses as, hey, there's nowhere to go but up. And I'm glad you're having, a more optimistic attitude in spite of all the things around you not being the best circumstances, or something is just going to absolute pot and failing. I do acknowledge that. I'm not trying to minimize that at all. My question becomes, if we don't want this situation to happen again, and by situation, Virgo, let me be abundantly clear. This is not, this stuff happens to us, right? This is not a tree fell on a car. This is not, that type of stuff that's kind of more or less outside of our control, given certain parameters. We're not talking about that. This is a circumstance, particularly Virgo, where different choices could have been made, where further research could have been had. And now almost what could be considered one of the worst case scenarios is playing out right in front of your face, and you're trying to see how can we course correct it, right? That's what I'm talking to right now. And so the understanding that, hey, I either make it balance out or it consumes me. The question is, how did we get here? Because I think we're gleaning a lot more information out of that rather than just saying everything's going to be fine, right? It's almost this belligerent insistence that, no, it has to be fine. And it doesn't. I think understanding the steps of how we got here will tell you the best plan of action of where we should get going towards. Next, towards the Five of Wands. What is conflict trying to tell us in the here and now? Show us the conflict, the cards that we need to see, please. That came out sideways. I'm going to put it sideways. Temperance sideways. Card of Sagittarius. We're going to get into that. Ooh, I like that. And what else along with that Five of Wands? Those cards we can see, please, for Virgo in this read. The Tower, right. And as things fall apart, who are we left to be when the rubble settles? Two of Swords. We don't have, the answers are not easy right now. And good that we have an undying faith and change paths, at least now that we know better. We hope that we can do better, right, Virgo? But the conflict right now is telling you, whatever side was taken in this scenario, whatever transpired, and a lot of it was outside your control, but for the things you could have controlled and the choices you could have made, it could have been more informed. We could have done things a little bit differently. And it's not to shame you in hindsight. Trust me, that is not really useful, especially given the context of the circumstances. However, what I can say, Virgo, the question of healing keeps popping up. Right, the Temperance coming out sideways. Normally, when cards fly out during shuffling, they either land right side up or upside down. Here, as you can see in the playback of the video, it landed almost completely parallel sideways to me. Right, that is the third position a card can always land in. And being sideways, the question of, will time actually heal all? Do we actually trust that process? Because right now, it's not just about, okay, we understand that everything became an absolute dumpster fire. Again, your situation applies to you, Virgo. But for the things I could have done better, the reason that I'm having nightmares and all these things and constant repetitions of what happened over and over is because part of me is trying to say out loud the disturbing thing, the hard thing, the difficult thing. That way, it could put things into perspective, make sense of the world happening around us, and then course correct and make better actions later. The idea that time automatically heals all can therefore be a false cognate, because time with no action means we're just staying still longer. It means we're staying still longer. So yes, there were conflicts outside your control. It turned into an absolute dumpster fire. But what you could have done right, don't be afraid to be honest, because it'll help you formulate a plan. Next to the Five of Swords, shows cards we need to see please upon the Five of Swords in this read. What do we need to see please upon the Five of Swords in Virgo's read today? What about the inner monologue that's eating at us? The Fool, a power of a new beginning. Okay, and what is that defined by? Three of Pentacles. Genuine working dynamics. What is this? Death, the card of Scorpio. Oh, okay. The conclusion that you must come to, a long-time standing confidant, acquaintance, friend, lifelong pal, not partner, but a connection that you held very dear to you, either transforms for the better or it falls to the wayside entirely. The fact that the Fool and Death, the Fool almost always represents the power of new beginnings, literally the first step. That's why you always see the Fool depicted as stepping off a cliff, right? And Death almost always represented by the embracing, the warmness held towards the Grim Reaper. You put those together, and with the Three of Pentacles sandwiched in between, the Three of Pentacles represents a collaborative, workable dynamic. Oftentimes the base level of friendship, but hey, it's not simply an equivalent exchange of you do this for me, I do this for you. It's we have a better chemistry than just a business transaction. The fact that's resting between the Fool and Death, what is friendship for you now, Virgo? Because somebody clearly showed a side of them that you had a feeling was lurking, but you didn't realize how bad it was. And now we're left in the aftermath of, yeah, I don't even think I want to talk to you anymore. And that feels weird because we've known each other for so long, but we have to be honest about who and where we are in this moment. Underneath it all, Six of Swords, moving on. Forward action, making the choice that, yeah, if I'm to be accountable to me and accountable to this, then I can't let somebody do that to me, throw me under the bus, or treat me like that anymore. Therefore, if you're busy caring about you and I'm busy caring about you, but you're not busy providing anything in return to me, then all that stuff has to be returned to me. Yep. Next, give us a card underneath every base 5 in this read for Virgo. Show us the cards we need to see, please. A card underneath every base 5 in the read for Virgo. As things change, what do you want us to know? Page of Swords, right. And that's what I was saying. The point of nightmares are also dreams too. And that Seven of Swords, those, almost clashing between each other, we're actually trying to learn from it, right? We're trying to say, hey, there's value in all the fear that I'm having and trying to decipher whatever occurred in your life right now, Virgo. But the sadness of it all is part of you is learning. If I was more honest with myself about just the direction things were heading in, and I saw a little bit of it, I just didn't want to call a spade, then maybe the outcome could have been different. Okay? Underneath the Five of Pentacles base, Knight of Wands. We are free to do what we want to here. However, it must come with a caveat of going back and really trying to address your nightmares and fears. What's happening here, that'll impact where we're going with this. Next, underneath the Five of Wands, Two of Wands. Okay. So beyond saying maybe time will heal all, maybe, no, we make a plan. We're actually moving ourselves into a state of activation rather than just staying shocked about it all. And last, underneath the Five of Swords, Two of Cups. And maybe it could never actually get there, but more deeper and intimate moments. If we didn't have the base, then we can't build anything from it. We're not talking about the chandeliers, we're talking about the baseboards, the floor. Underneath it all, the star, the card of Aquarius. Our hopes, our fears, everything wrapped into one. Now here saying, Virgo, regardless of what the situation could have been or the long time dynamic held between you and I need to call a spade a spade. How did we get here? Because I can't betray myself like that again. Okay. And as we move towards resolution, define the major arcana stream across the table in this read for Virgo. We're going to look at the Temperance sideways. Yeah, that's very interesting to me, just because of positions. So the cards we need to see, please. We start with Temperance and push forward. In Temperance, yeah, the Emperor. And that's what I was saying. Does time heal all? I think time, because time is the most valuable resource, it provides opportunity for change. However, at the end of the day, it doesn't simply just happen to or for you like that, Virgo. The Emperor, a choice must be made. Here, the intentional choice to examine everything, call a spade, understand how things went wrong. That way we could gear them in a direction that goes right. Next to the Tower. Ace of Wands. Us being gung-ho about, how things ended up, not necessarily a bad thing. Again, all these unearthed feelings, especially the dirty ones that you feel, this isn't becoming of me, or it's not productive to have that emotion, it's probably exactly what you need to hear to push you in the right direction. Next, underneath the Fool, Eight of Wands. So intentionally accepting here and now, this is what it is, and now we're looking for new beginnings. With or without you, that is the question. And to Death, Two of Swords. Yeah, we're not confused anymore. We don't have space or time for it. If I was to be honest about where we were weeks ago, months ago, maybe even years ago, then I also can't pretend that I'm shocked about how things turned out. Underneath it all, the Lovers, card of Gemini. And also, Nine of Wands, the efforts that we put in, does it always equal equitability in the payout? Underneath it all, Three of Cups, or reunion. Or at least meeting people, a person, on more favorable and amicable terms. What do we see in this read today, Virgo? I'm not saying that rejection is easy, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. Here, we have a situation where there were other factors outside your control that you had no business with that just so happened to make a situation difficult. But in terms of a sustained dynamic between you and another that we at one point wanted more deeper and intimate connection with, part of us had to admit we might not be right for each other. And we purposefully and intentionally overlooked that for the sake of making whatever this was work out. Right. But the more and more we put in, the more and more we felt left behind. And now the question becomes, I'm not trying to shame you, obviously, as your reader, but as your trusted guide, I'm just calling a spade in that if you really want the new beginning, then we also have to understand the patterns and practices of what got us here. Right. We genuinely like this person, or at least wanted them in our lives at some point. And then this big crashing moment happens. And then the question is, were we even friends? Like, why are we here? What is the point of it all? And I think when you're finally able to ask those deeper and hard-hitting questions and locate yourself and how you were complicit in it, Virgo, we could then say, I understand it. I don't have to necessarily accept every part of it, but I understand how some conclusions were made, how we got here. And I finally feel comfortable to let this go and move on with my life. That's what I got in your read today, Virgo. I hope this conversation helped. And yeah, could things have been different in some way, shape, or form? Possibly. But with what you got to work with here and now, the feeling of being left behind, that things aren't panning out the way that they should, maybe they actually are. Maybe it is going right. Finally. I'll see you around, okay? Take care.